For nearly 300 years, sightings of a bizarre winged creature have been reported throughout the Pine Barrens of New Jersey. It is known as the Jersey Devil and has become one of North America's most recognizable cryptids. And rather than trying to figure out whether or not it's real, I want to take all the stories, sightings, and folklore surrounding it and create my own interpretation of the creature. But first, what even is the Jersey Devil? It's usually described as a hoofed bipedal creature with glowing red eyes, bat-like wings, short clawed arms, a forked tail, and a horned head that resembles a horse or a goat. Honestly, it's one of the strangest cryptid designs I've come across. Most cryptids tend to fall into three categories: mundane animals in the wrong place, known animals with extreme physical anomalies, or surviving prehistoric species. The Jersey Devil feels like somebody combined three completely unrelated creatures together. Depending on the account, it's often described as being over 6 feet tall, and many mention it having a high-pitched, blood-curdling scream. And like I mentioned, it is heavily associated with the Pine Barrens, which is a massive stretch of dense forest and wilderness. The perfect place for a cryptid, honestly. It's easy to get lost, it gets incredibly dark at night, and the trees block out sound, creating an overall creepy atmosphere. Like something could be watching you, just out of sight. Its origin is an authentic folk legend, dating back to a place called Leeds Point in 1735. The story goes, there was a local woman called Mother Leeds that some believed was some sort of witch or sorceress. She had 12 children, and on a stormy night, she was giving birth to her 13th baby. And in a moment of disgust and frustration, she cursed it, saying something along the lines of, "Let it be the devil," and the baby boy was born. It immediately transformed into a monster, shrieked, and fled through the chimney. From then on, it is said to roam the surrounding wilderness, terrorizing humanity. Little details like whether or not it was born already deformed or exactly what Mother Leeds said remains unclear. But the part that really stuck with me is that this isn't just a monster appearing out of nowhere. It was born from a human. That's kind of unheard of, at least compared to the cryptids I'm familiar with. Most cryptids are mysterious because nobody knows where they came from. The Jersey Devil is weird because it supposedly has a specific origin story tied to an actual person, place, and date. Over the years, more sightings started to emerge, and some from prominent figures at the time. An American naval hero claimed to see it flying in the air and literally fired a cannonball at it. And Joseph Bonaparte, Napoleon's brother, claimed to encounter it while hunting. But the real turning point came in 1909 to what is now known as Devil's Week. From January 16th to January 23rd of 1909, a wave of mass sightings swept across Delaware Valley. For a week, police and thousands of citizens in more than 30 towns across New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware claimed to see the creature. And a lot of those encounters were in broad daylight. People found unidentified hoof prints on top of snowy roofs, pets and livestock were found mauled, and police officers even shot at it. The public panic got so bad. It was all over the newspapers, schools were closed, and the Philadelphia Zoo even offered a $10,000 reward for its capture. This was when the Jersey Devil went from being a regional folk legend to an authenticated cultural phenomenon. Whatever people were seeing, all those stories started painting a picture of a very specific creature. But since then, the sightings kind of just died down as time went on. It was never actually captured despite many hoaxes, and eventually got popularized as more of a movie monster. To me, it kind of seemed like it just decided to expand its stomping grounds outside of the Pine Barrens and just went on a spree through the valley. But for a creature that's supposedly behaving so aggressively, it never actually harmed a person. It was blamed for the mutilation of poultry, cats, and dogs, but there's no factual evidence of it ever injuring a human being. The close encounters it had with people mainly mentioned it staring them down and letting out an ear-piercing shriek before flying away. For my interpretation, I tried my best to include all of its classic features, like the hooves, little arms, and giant bat wings. Most depictions give it a horse-like head, but I lean more towards a goat. Goats are often associated with the devil, and since this thing is basically an unwanted demon child, it just makes sense. It still keeps that unnatural combination of features, but grounding it slightly more in something that could maybe function like a real animal. And of course, I had to include the baby version. I know that according to legend, it's supposed to be hideous, but I can't help but try to make it lovable in some way. To be honest, I view most cryptids as misunderstood, but that's besides the point. I also noticed that many depictions give the Jersey Devil a lot of dragon-like traits, especially in more modern interpretations. Part of that might come from a few interesting connections surrounding the legend. There are wyverns on the Leeds family crest, and some people have also drawn comparisons between the Jersey Devil and stories from the Lenape people, who lived in the region way before European settlement. They feared a winged woodland spirit with antlers called Masing, and the Pine Barrens area itself was once referred to as Popwesing, which translates to place of the dragon. Many believe that Masing and the Jersey Devil are the same creature, so in the more recent years, people started giving it draconic abilities like breathing fire or a toxic gas. So I leaned into that and chose the latter. It felt less like a fantasy ability and more like something biological, like a defense mechanism that doesn't just attack animals but affects the entire environment around it. When it's not attacking with its teeth and claws, I imagine it poisoning an area and letting everything suffer around it. It felt more sinister than fire because it doesn't just hurt animals, it hurts the entire ecosystem. If I'm being honest, based on the stories, it seems like the Jersey Devil spends most of its time hunting animals and accidentally terrifying people along the way. It flies around searching for animals to eat, but whenever it confronts a person, it kinda just screams at them and runs away. Maybe it takes joy in spreading fear, or maybe it still has some serious mommy and daddy issues. Or maybe both. Either way, nothing can deny the very real widespread hysteria surrounding it. Thousands of people clearly saw something, but I guess it will always remain a mystery. So that's my take on the Jersey Devil. I had a lot of fun researching this cryptid. I grew up familiar with it, mainly because of that one Lost Tapes episode on Animal Planet that kinda traumatized me, but I find it so unique how its lore is actually tied to religion. It's interesting how it's basically an accidental antichrist. It almost sounds like it was born to end the world, tried for a week, and then flew home because it got overwhelmed. Relatable, honestly. But anyway, that's the video. Let me know what you think of this one, and if there's another cryptid you want me to cover next. But until then, thanks for watching.